Without objection, so ordered.
Mr. Speaker, I yield myself as much time as I may consume.
Gentleman's recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to urge the passage of H.R. 3857, the Public Transportation Security and Local Law Enforcement Support Act, which helps local law enforcement meet national security demands in a troubled economy. Today, we solemnly remember the tragedy which took place 11 years ago at the Pentagon, in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, and New York City. I am personally reminded when I travel from my home to New York, from New York to D.C., I look toward the southern tip of Manhattan where the Twin Towers once stood. As we also remember the brave New York firefighters and police officers who ran into the inferno of the World Trade Center with no regard for their own safety. We should think about the brave spirit that lives on in every first responder. They are truly our last line of defense in an increasingly dangerous world, and we should make sure they are provided with access to all the resources they need to keep us safe. In large metropolitan areas, public transit systems are among the most vulnerable targets. In New York City, the MTA carries over 8 million people daily on its subways and buses throughout the 5 boroughs. The Transit Security Grant Program provides funds to public transit agencies in high-risk areas for various security projects, including the hiring of full-time personnel for specialized anti-terrorist teams, canine units, mobile screening, and public awareness campaigns. The program is authorized by the implementing recommendations of the 9/11 Commission Act of 2007 and administered by the Federal Emergency Management Agency in consultation with the Transportation Security Administration. Grant funds are used to create new specialized anti-terror teams, but until recently could not be used to sustain these teams unless the Department of Homeland Security provided a waiver. This forced law enforcement to face the uncertainty of a waiver process or risk losing vital security assets. Fortunately, the Secretary provided some relief last year so that a waiver was not required, but without this bill, there's nothing to stop the Department of Homeland Security from reinstating another bureaucratic waiver or a process. H.R. 3857 streamlines the grant program to make it easier for the specialized security teams to receive funding. It authorizes the Department of Homeland Security to provide transit security grant programs to sustain teams and also eliminate the bureaucratic steps of requiring eligible transit agencies to apply for a waiver. This will help avoid countless hours of request preparation and review. I urge my colleagues to support this bill because there is nothing more important than protecting our citizens. We must make it a priority to ensure that the brave men and women who work so hard to keep us safe have the resources they need, and as soon as they need it. Thank you, and I reserve the balance of my time.
Gentleman from